6:01 here in New York City. And I'm joined by Charlie Hurt and, of course, our friend Griff, who's been soul cycling.
Yes, we soul cycled.
With the crew, with the gang.
We did.
With our producers.
Our producers. We had Katie, we had Courtney, we had Gabby with us. We were rocking out to Taylor Swift. It's very good. I got my fitness in.
You're good. Where were you?
Oh, I think I went to the wrong one.
I saw him leave the building with the cigar in his pocket. So I'm only guessing what happened after work.
I had a date in Central Park with a cigar, and it worked out great.
I'm going to.
I got my cardio in.
If I don't accomplish anything on this couch in the months and years to come, it will be that we will get Charlie to Soul Cycle and get it on camera.
I will go to Soul Cycle with you to see that.
Really?
I will.
Good.
I will do that.
Okay.
You know, the only person that's keeping a more intense pace than us going soul cycling is President Trump overseas on his first trip to
He'd
Asia.
smoke you on the Soul Cycle.
He would.
This is true. So with that, starting with the Fox News alert.
It's amazing, of course. President Trump, by the way, about the peace deals that he's done all over the place. He said, I shouldn't say it's a hobby because it's so much more serious than a hobby. But it's something that that was a really important point stuck in there. He's getting the Chinese to stop buying Russian oil.
Yeah.
That is huge. So first, the first thing he was trying to do with all the Ukraine war situation, China aligning with Russia, we brought them together in that war. And then in the peace deal, I think President Trump was trying to bring Russia in, and that's not working. So now he's like, all right, I'll separate China from Russia because he has the economic power and strength to do that. Because I think Xi Jinping knows he's weaker than ever, and President Trump will do anything he has to do to win, and they believe it.
Yeah, and part of, I think, President Trump's diplomacy has always been a recognition that America's economic power is even more powerful than our military power. And he's not afraid to use it. And, of course, all of this happens at a time where there are rumors swirling around, real concerns about Xi Jinping's grip on power in China, real questions about whether or not, because obviously China has all kinds of problems that we don't know a lot about just because it's a pretty closed-off society, but they have real problems on their hands, like generational problems on their hands. And you know that Trump recognizes all of that and recognizes that he can use this moment where Xi Jinping faces these problems to our advantage, to America's advantage, to the advantage of the world, whether it is dealing with Russia and breaking up that alliance, or dealing with fentanyl, or dealing with trade. And Trump is going to take advantage of every bit of that.
And every time he takes a trip like this, people are reminded, who do you want representing you in these trade deals, especially? And boy, just think about Kamala Harris there. And by the way, I love the dancing. Thank you for bringing back that old footage. I will do any story that brings back that old footage of Joe Biden. But the footage of President Trump, he's having so much fun.
He is, and it paints such contrast. You know, I think actually that had he not have to deal with solving all these wars and dealing with the global world stage, he actually might also find out who stole those crown jewels at the Louvre, because we have an update this morning about that, a Fox News alert. 2 suspects.
Chanley.
Thank you, Chanley.
So there's speculation that even at this point, the robbers may have already broken up the jewels. And if that's the case, you know, it's one thing to steal the jewels. It's all fun and games and everything, and we think it's an amazing story. But then if you destroy the jewels, that's a whole, that to me is death penalty. That goes from you go to jail for 20 years to the death penalty if you destroy these valuable historic artifacts.
I guess we don't know much about this man, correct?
So perhaps the biggest mystery coming out of Paris now is this man, a dapper man that was...
Well, let's move to another big city, one that's going to be very different if the person who's ahead in the polls actually wins, and that is, of course, Zohran Mamdani. Look at these voting, look at these interests in this race.
Yeah, and look, you know, if you're a New Yorker, you are really starting to realize with Mamdani's got a 20-plus point lead that this is what's coming to your city, a socialist that wants free buses, that wants to, you know, government ownership of...
Harder it is to poll. So when you do polling in a city like this, it's a lot more difficult just because national polling, people have been doing states for, decades. It's that you end up with far better algorithms, and it's a little bit easier to figure out how to wait for things and adjust for things. But in a city, it's a lot more difficult to get accurate polling. And so we might, at the end of the day, find out that all these polls are very wrong and that people are really, really not as down with full-blown communism as you would think.
Or that his voters don't turn out to the polls. And
Right.
in other words, are people more enthusiastic for Zohran Mamdani to actually go to the polls, or are the people who are scared of Zohran Mamdani?
Or is there enthusiasm for Mamdani throwing off the polls?
But also the debate that they had, I don't know how widely viewed that was, but if you watched it, he lost that debate.
This last one.
Yeah, last one. I thought Sliwa did better than all of them. And then I thought Cuomo did quite well and exposed Zohran Mamdani for, having zero experience and understanding of a city of this size.
But this clip, and what makes me wonder about it is because this clip of Zohran Mamdani talking about the horrors of 9/11, because his aunt was fearful of going on a subway after 9/11 wearing her hijab, as opposed to recognizing the thousands of people who were killed on 9/11 and the fact that our entire country was plunged into war. Watch this.
I think one other point about all this, we have AOC and Bernie Sanders coming to campaign for Mamdani today in New York City. And I think, if the guy's got a 20-plus point lead, he doesn't need more star power in this election. And bringing in national socialist Democrats like AOC and Bernie Sanders is more intended to send a message internally in the Democrat Party that we are here, we're going to win New York, and it's going to go well beyond New York to the national.
And
It's such a great point. It's such a great point.
And the fact that you finally have Hakeem Jeffries bending the knee and coming and endorsing after months of refusing to do it also is recognition that the socialists have taken over the Democrat Party.
Yeah, and not just a late endorsement, a full-throated endorsement. You won't see Schumer do it, though, by the way, because he just wrote a book about anti-Semitism. So I don't see how.
So a lot riding on this election for AOC. She will be, if Zohran Mamdani wins, she will be able to say nationally to the Democrat Party, see, our message is resonating. So it's important.
New York City.
Yes. Meanwhile, yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, I just want to end with this. This is Zohran Mamdani talking about himself, which is interesting. He says, "No more. I will not change who I am, how I eat, or the faith that I am proud to call my own. But there is one thing that I will change. I will no longer look for myself in the shadows. I will find myself in the light." And I just thought it sounded like a Katy Perry song. So I just thought I'd mention that because I think it shows
He's a rapper,
Yeah, I know he is. I think it shows I find myself in the light. This is what it's about. It's about himself.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Almost always is. Okay, turning now to your headlines. Pennsylvania, your headline.
Take that, Canada.
Yeah.
Yamamoto's back.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. All right, KT McFarland on track.
Let's just get right into it. Tell me about your journey with breast cancer and what you learned coming out of it.
So I got diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 58, which is very common. That's like an average age. I went in for a routine mammogram. I almost delayed it. Wow. And I think, honestly, God told me not to. And sure enough, they found a suspicious area. They did the, ultrasound and all of the different procedures, had a lumpectomy, radiation, and I'm cancer-free.
And now you're cancer-free.
Yes.
And I'm sure you thought a lot while you were, recovering. How did this happen? Why did I get it?
Right.
And so what are your thoughts, especially on the statistics that we just showed, that it's actually increasing in younger women,
Absolutely.
which is a very new phenomenon.
It's so disturbing.
So what do you think is behind that?
I think it's environmental issues. I think it's the food we eat.
So it's the chemicals. It's the
absolutely. I think it's the, processed food. I mean, all the things that we're trying to change right now in the U.S. I think, stress plays a role as well, and just healthy lifestyle. So I think you have to really assess your whole life. It doesn't mean that, you can't still have fun, but you really do have to take care of yourself.
So the bad news is younger women are getting breast cancer. The good news is more women are surviving the diagnosis,
right.
which
Absolutely.
is amazing. And so one of the things you decided was, I'm going to address the things we're putting on our skin. I think people don't think about that enough.
Right.
We think any cream is just moisturizing, so it must be good for us. Not the case, right?
Right. So my co-founder, Michelle, and I started Womaness. We actually started it before I had cancer. And we wanted it to be made with clean, it's skincare, it's sexual wellness products, it's supplements. It's really wellness from the inside out and the outside in. And I think it's become even more important to me personally because of my cancer journey, because so many women really need, we all need to be careful what we're putting on our body. Our skin is our largest organ. We're absorbing these chemicals. So that's why our product is, toxin-free. It's no added hormones. It's soy-free. It's really, really clean product. And it's very affordable.
Right.
So I think...
And people
really
get it online, by the way, right?
Yep.
Right.
And we're in Walmart stores, Ulta Beauty, Amazon. So it's all about being accessible.
So you started before, but then you got the cancer diagnosis.
Yes.
How has the company and the goals of the company changed since you had your diagnosis?
Yeah,
Are you more intentional about that?
Absolutely. I think women want and need education. They need education about, cancer, menopause. And many times all of this happens at the same time, right? Your 50s are pivotal years. So we have invested in a lot of educational information. We have a blog. We work with doctors to really create information that is science-backed, because women need to know what's happening with their bodies.
Yeah. Well, we're so glad that you're cancer-free.
Thank
we're
you.
really glad that you came, told us about your journey, and giving people options of how to do skincare products and other wellness products that are toxic, chemical-free, and good for you. So
thanks, Rachel.
Sally Mueller, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
God bless you. All right, let's check in with meteorologist Marissa Torres. She has our Fox weather forecast. And there's a lot of important stuff going on right now.
Yeah, a lot to break down, Rachel. Here at home, and then we'll get to the Caribbean. Here at home, a lot of rain from Friday and through yesterday and through southeast Texas, anywhere from 4.5 inches in Dallas to up to 5 1/4. So all of that pushing off to the east. In fact, we've had some tornado warnings in southeast Louisiana, a severe risk, and the threat for some very heavy rain yet again. We'll be timing that out through the afternoon and then even to maybe tonight into early Monday with some of those severe storms. And through Wednesday, all of that moisture moving into the Mississippi, Tennessee Valley, potentially 3 to 5 inches in some spots. So we could see more flood concerns as we head into the early part of next week. In terms of the Central Caribbean, we now have a hurricane, and a major hurricane at that. Yesterday morning at this time, Melissa was still a tropical storm. It went through extreme rapid intensification, so about an increase in 60-mile-per-hour winds over 24 hours. This is wild to see. It's expected to become a Category 5 by tonight. It would be the third Cat 5 of the season, with Jamaica a landfall as a very strong hurricane by late Monday into early Tuesday, and eventually into Cuba after that, Rachel.
Marissa, I've been following that hurricane. My sister's going to be the new ambassador to the Dominican Republic. She's supposed to get out to the Dominican, and that hurricane is stopping her flight. So I'll be following that with you to see when she gets to fly out. Marissa, great stuff. All right, think you got what it takes to carve the perfect pumpkin?
We've just carved, actually we didn't carve them. Adam Beerton, the professional pumpkin carver, carved those, but it really is fascinating guy, and he was telling us just at the break there that he's about to carve a 2,000.
It looks like this also inspired the Hurt family to start carving pumpkins, because Charlie just got a text from his wife saying, get ready, you're going to pour me some wine and carve a pumpkin on the porch for me tonight.
Yeah, she started out by saying, hey, we can carve pumpkins tonight. And then she added, by which I mean I can watch you carve pumpkins. So,
yes, and Stephanie,
thanks.
Please get photos.
Thanks, Adam.
Take video.
We have a lot of content for Halloween coming up. We're going to have a Halloween parade with kids at the end of the show, but also this. The guts of the pumpkin.
We're going to tell you what to do with the guts. I mean, that's the worst part, is digging all that out.
That's the best part.
That's why you have
Kids love
pigs.
that.
You can ride around the neighborhood, collect all of the different pumpkins, take them, give them to the pigs. The pigs will eat every single day. It's a great.
What do you do if you don't have pigs? That's what we're talking about.
We're going to make something that humans can eat. So,
That's right.
meanwhile, we've also got, by the way, we've got a look ahead. We're going to take you to that haunted house we went to. That's going to be very consequences. And I think that when we get a little bit further, perhaps later this month or into next month, you're going to see the Pentagon put out this national defense strategy, which is going. That's a regular thing the Pentagon does to basically inform the country and Congress of where their emphasis is. You're going to see that shift to the Western Hemisphere. That'll be a very significant thing.
Oh, the shift has happened. I mean, you feel it, you see it. You remember when Secretary of War Pete Hegseth went down to the Panama Canal, one of the things he said is, he didn't just say America first, he said the Americas first. So sure, there's a military component to that, but also President Trump is wielding the economic power of the United States to separate China from so many of the countries who've been making deals with them. And he's basically saying, you have a choice. You can align yourselves with the United States, or you can be with China. And you see that right now in Argentina, for example, where they offered this currency swap to help President Milei, who's doing all kinds of economic reforms, and the country's going through some economic hardships as he's trying to bring it back to economic liberty. There's some economic hardship there. So President Trump saying, we'll be the ones to help you out through that with this currency swap, and maybe even with the importation, some more importation of their beef here. But all of that's to say, China, we don't want you in our hemisphere, but you can't just say, don't do that. You actually have to offer something. And the other thing we're offering Latin America is security by saying no one has ever gone in and taken care of the cartels who are wreaking havoc and violence all over Latin America. And so that's the other part of the doctrine. So this refocus on the Western Hemisphere. And by the way, good timing for Fox Noticias to have launched last year because we're in a moment for that.
Yeah, and the era of spending billions and trillions of dollars on countries that nobody's ever heard of in parts of the world that people can't even find on a map under President Trump are over. And
he's winding down those wars and refocusing us on our own hemisphere. You're absolutely right.
You know, another story that I think is really fascinating to watch is we've talked a lot about First Lady Melania Trump and the successes she's having, but Second Lady Usha Vance is playing a pretty significant role behind the scenes, but yet you have former Press Secretary Jen Psaki blasting her. Listen to this.
I mean, I don't know how many people actually pay attention to what Jen Psaki has to say. I certainly don't. You never hear about it. Our playing of the clip right there got her more views than anything she gets on her home channel or on her, I guess that's like a YouTube show she was doing there. I don't know. But it is kind of remarkable, the hatefulness, the vitriol that comes out of these people when they lose power and when they find out that actually voters don't care about anything they have to say, and they throw them out of office. It is so nasty and vile, and you almost hate to even play any of this stuff or give them
Here's Politico. This is a quote from Politico.
She is, and yet it's just this ad hominem attack that it doesn't hold.
There's very little to attack Usha Vance on. By the way, in that same interview, she's criticizing J.D. Vance, saying he just wants to be president so bad. Well, yeah, he's the vice president. He's the most likely person to be leading in that race. And of course, what they're doing right now is trying to make friends. The Vances need to make friends with everybody in the party and make sure that they're the lead candidates, and that's what they're doing. And it's perfectly great that he's using his wife to help him out. And that book actually details how she's been at his side. She's by his side right now on the trip that he's on right now. So
I'm sorry, who in Washington doesn't want to be
political
president?
spouses do.
I don't understand any of this.
Yeah, good point. I mean, we live in Washington. I don't want to be president, but I'm not in politics.
Yeah, there are like three of us that don't want to be president. Who cares? And who cares if she wanted to be a shy and retiring wife? Who cares?
Yeah.
It's all so stupid. And the idea that these people, but this vitriol, this nasty, and you see it with the subtle bigotry towards people. It's so idiotic. These people have, and you see this with a lot of the Obama people. Their policies failed. Everything that they promised is a failure. Obamacare is a failure. They were on the wrong side of history. And so they're going to now spend these times where you actually have a president who's doing things that people want, actually accomplishing things, and they're just so nasty and vitriolic about it.
That's why I love the video that we've been showing of President Trump landing in Malaysia and dancing and having fun. This is what really drives him crazy. It's not just that he's getting things done domestically and internationally. He's having so much fun doing it. Boy, it drives him crazy.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, we're going to turn now to your headlines. Homeland Security agents. All right, well, it's time for another pop culture roundup. And joining me is Fox News contributor Tom Shalhoub. First up, Gen Z may have fallen for Republican New York City mayoral nominee Curtis Sliwa after his very witty debate performance and his responses like this. This went viral on TikTok.
I try to avoid yellow cabs. As you know, I was shot in the back of a yellow cab in 1992 by the Gottis and Gambinos, but I'd find my way around.
If there was a ranked choice election?
In this, you'd have to rank these.
Myself number one and Curtis number two.
Mr. Sliwa.
Oh, please don't be glazing me here, Zora. Are you kidding?
Would any of you accept Mayor Adams' endorsement? Mr. Sliwa.
Absolutely not. Put that crook in jail where he belongs.
Tom, have we been sleeping on Sliwa? Because he's so funny.
Yes, and it's no surprise that he's going viral on TikTok. Young people like it. It's not only the humor, it's the authenticity. Yes. He's got that real New York accent, and he talks like a New Yorker, and he's been in the subways, and he's been on the highways and the byways. You know, he has a
with the mafia.
Exactly. So, no, this is great, and maybe we can get a young surge for Sliwa, and maybe Cuomo's the guy who should drop out, right?
I've been saying that for a while. By the way, young people might be the ones swinging this election, and he's a great contrast to Zohran Mamdani, who's not very New Yorker.
No.
He's not New York. All right, let's move to this because Victoria Beckham, a.k.a. Posh Spice, admitted on the Who's Your Daddy podcast that she actually used a fake Louis Vuitton bag. Watch.
Out shopping in Bond Street, and this was not a real Louis Vuitton handbag. This was a fake one. And Marc Jacobs, who was the creative director of Louis Vuitton, got in touch with me when he saw this picture, and he's like, I'm going to send you a real one, because this was a snide.
You're lying to me. At that point, this is fake?
Yes, not as posh as you think, Alex, not all the time.
Not as posh as you think, and then she's getting a free hand. She doesn't need a new handbag. She's loaded.
No, all the rich people get all the free stuff, right? But it shows you that Marc Jacobs from Louis Vuitton, he didn't want her having the fake bag. I think these luxury brands actually like the knockoffs because then people are guessing, is it real or is it fake? Because the is it real or fake thing, that makes their brand look better. But he doesn't want a prominent celebrity with a fake bag, so he's going to send her a free one.
Yeah, this humanized her. We've all used fake bags.
Yeah.
Just admit it. All right, Meghan and Prince Harry lose. Get this. This is my favorite story. Their 10th publicist in 5 years. What does that tell? Watch this. Oh, I guess it's just a quote. I thought we had a video on it. Okay, it says that she loses her, in just 3 months. And get this, so the woman who was the publicist worked for Netflix, and other publicists say, this woman's hardworking, she's not a quitter. So what does this tell you about Meghan and Harry?
Well, look, they get all the publicity they want, but it's in the wrong direction. So there's nothing you can do to turn this around. Why? Because they're kind of boring. That's the problem, is that she's boring, he's boring.
But that's not why people are quitting on them. They're quitting on them because they must be horrible to work with.
Well, you know what, though? But if you can't get results, then it's going to be an embarrassment to your PR brand. So they're like, look, there's nothing I can do with this, so they're out the door.
That's an interesting theory. All right. Oh, I
Because they
kind of
can
like.
deal. These PR people, they are used to dealing with difficult people. It's not the difficulty. It's that they
Have nothing to work with.
Yeah, they're like, you're making me
Nothing
look
to
bad.
work with. I don't know. I think look at how their friends and the people they work with, if they've not been there a long time, they don't have anyone around them that's been around them for a long time, it shows they're the problem.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, this is such a great story. Okay, Kim Kardashian says that her mom, Kris Jenner, was mistaken for her after she got this facelift. So let's talk about this facelift really quick. It was $150,000. Every woman over the age of 60 wants this facelift. They're like, give me the Kris Jenner. It's amazing. She looks spectacular, and she loves this story. What do you mean?
I don't. If people look, someone like the Jenners, the Kardashians, they can afford it. Plus, they have a lot of post work done. I don't know if it's going to work. Like if someone is out there, they're going to spend $150,000 on a facelift. I don't know if it's going to work because you got to have the crew.
That worked. I'm sorry. That worked. Best $150,000 that woman has ever spent.
The Tom Shalhoub theory on plastic surgery is if we're talking about it, it's not good. You're not supposed to say, look at that
You
facelift.
want it to be. It is subtle. She's not stretched. She looks good. Tom. All right.
But you know she got it, right? Everybody knows she got it.
She's announcing it, and she looks so good. It had to be something. Anyway, all right, Tom, good point. I love it. Thank you, Tom. Let's check in with meteorologist Marissa Torres for our Fox weather forecast. Marissa, good facelift or not?
120%. I already started my penny jar.
I know, right?
I'm about 150,000 behind schedule, but I'll get there hopefully by the time I'm 90. It's so good.
And the technique will keep getting better.
And then we have to just work on the inside, right? So that everything matches. I don't know. Way to go, Miss Kardashian. Okay, let's talk about the weather across the country. We have severe weather for southeastern Louisiana into Mississippi. In fact, a tornado watch that'll go all the way through noon for you. We've already had some tornado warnings. Could even see some of these overnight tornadoes tonight into tomorrow. Also want to let you know we're waiting for that update from the National Hurricane Center. We'll get an update on Hurricane Melissa. This time yesterday, it was a tropical storm. Now it is a Category 4 hurricane and an imminent landfall that we're expecting with Jamaica by Monday into Tuesday. I'll have an update in the next hour with that, Rachel.
All right. Thank you, Marissa. We'll be right back. We had a lot of fun. Why didn't they show the one where the lady is in the stirrups and the thing comes out of her stomach? And it was like an alien or something.
Yeah, that was frightening.
That was frightening.
I think, by the way, Charlie actually enjoyed it. Like, he was complaining about going to this, and then we watched that. I think you had more fun than anybody.
I had a lot more fun than I expected. I was not expecting
Having my kids there helped.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
No, you don't feel quite as bad. Like, we're in our 50s. We're not supposed to be.
When the lights went darker, I knew something was up.
This is what
Look at this.
Where are your kids?
I don't know. That is
Welcome to Fox Weekend.
Are these producers, or did you guys come from the Halloween haunted house? They are.
From
They
the
are.
house. Well done. I remember the chainsaw guy.
So do you have anything you want to get off your chest? You need to, you've obviously escaped from the mental
You were the one scaring me
institute.
the most.
Just take the chainsaw to Charlie for us. More Fox and Friends.
We've got more
Hopefully
Fox
ahead
and
if we
Friends.
survive.
Right.